Hey there, everybody. It's the Divine Brothers meeting yet again, week in, week out, bringing you all the good stuff. And your weekly dose, yeah. It's been a nice little week for me. Things are wrapping up here in China, school year wrapping up, feeling pretty relaxed, yeah. How's everybody else doing? Anything going on?
Allergies are terrible, but other than that, the weather's getting beautiful, and all things are good over here.
It's nice.
I've been watching
Yeah,
Shogun with our dad, but the Shogun from 1980. You ever seen that one?
no.
It's fucking good. It's better than the book. It's fantastic. Yeah, just a recommendation. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, I actually believe these guys were these people in a past life.
Cool, cool.
As he does marijuana. That's exactly what a marijuana user would say, Chase.
Yeah, Chase has been smoking a lot lately. I haven't smoked in since I was in America. That was the last time. Dawson, do you still partake or are you pretty much clean?
Very occasionally. So the governor, I believe her name is Kay Ivey, just made illegal all this these different types of THC, like HHC, Delta 8, Delta O. There's a huge number of them, but because of a hemp act, you could basically sell almost any type of THC that wasn't Delta 9 THC, and so it gave rise to a huge market. Any vape shop would carry hundreds of different varieties of smokable THCA or what whatever you wanted, and including edibles, and now that's all being done away with. So a lot of smoke shops are going to go down. A lot of people are going to go back to buying illegal marijuana because the Delta 8 and stuff worked well. It was almost indistinguishable from regular cannabis. So it's a shame because it's like another step back because like we were moving in the direction of freedom and personal autonomy, and now we're going in the opposite direction again. So
This is Alabama.
yeah, it's Alabama. Tennessee did the same thing as well.
I'll tell you this with the experience in Hawaii, it's fucking horrible because it's legalized out here, but they treat you like a criminal. You have to have your ID, you have to have your license, only one person in the shop at a time, no phones allowed. Like it's an awful experience. And they charge you three times what the guy down the street, the Mexican down the street will sell you. So you just buy from the Mexican down the street. That's it. They've made it so uncomfortable, and if they're going to overcharge, at least make the experience worthwhile. And the experience sucks. I really hate buying weed from them. I feel like I'm going to prison.
It is strange being without it for so long because it was a pretty major part of my life, especially during graduate school. It was something I was basically doing it every day, you know, and I've been without it for so long that at first I really missed it, but now I don't really miss it like I used to. It used to be a real craving, and now it's just something that I don't know. Maybe it's just part of getting older that it doesn't appeal to me like it once did. You know?
I I think you're just adapting to not having it. Like there's no chance you're going to get it, so you're just like fuck it, I'm just going to live without it. And I think you're used to that.
Well, it wasn't like that when I first came here.
I know.
Uh,
I remember. And
for
you
the
would
first
smoke.
few years. Yeah, I really did miss it quite a lot. But the last time I was in America and I had some, it was great. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. But there wasn't when I came back, I didn't find myself like dreaming about it like I used to. Like, Jesus Christ, please give me some kind of high, you know? So yeah, it's interesting not having it. It's nice to have it there, but I don't really drink either. So I'm kind of a loser when it comes to getting high these days. So it is what it is.
I love high conversations, man. They're so fun. Nobody ever gets really angry, and they can go any which direction. But nobody's going to end in a fist fight. It's always a good time. So I've never smoked in excess, maybe one semester, my last semester in college, just because I could. And I was like, fuck it, I'll be a pothead. It was fun. I didn't get much done, but it was fun being a pothead. But I like it once a week. This is the only time I smoke. Maybe if someone offers it to me, that's it. It's the only time I'll do it. So yeah, on occasion.
Yeah, that's what I learned. Like, marijuana has diminishing returns, and the negatives build up over time. So when I did it frequently, I was tired all day, and it didn't really give me a lot of anxiety. But it was like the classical stoner stereotype of basically you're just not doing anything,
Yeah.
and not everyone's like that, but that's how I got. So I adapted. I just do it occasionally now, and it enhances my life. It's not a problem. I'm not addicted to it. I don't spend excess money on it, but when I'm feeling a little bit down or a little bit bored, it's nice to have.
It amazes me how many people abuse marijuana. It's like I don't understand it. Because you're absolutely right, Austin. The rewards diminish. You smoke every day, it's not as good. You smoke once a week, it's still fantastic. And it's just like you become forgetful, you become lazy. It's like, dude, you do it to have fun on occasion. You don't do it every day. If you do it every day, you don't feel anything. I never got it. I never got it. Never made sense to me. But a ton of people are like that. A ton.
Dean, what's the alternative? So you're in China, like basically there's no black market, not that you know of, or you're connected to. I mean, do you go down to the local herb shop and buy some catnip and roll that up, or is it just alcohol and tobacco?
When I first came to China, it was around. Like in my early days in Suzhou, this was maybe 2018, 2017. And I remember like people were smoking it around Shanghai, and then very suddenly, like it was all the guys on WeChat who used to sell it, they just disappeared. Like it was like an overnight roundup, and it was gone. And then I had two friends who got arrested. One of them spoke a little Chinese, and he got out of it, but the other one went to prison. He did time because he had an ounce of weed on him, and he was like a gay dude in Shanghai, like an English gay guy, and he had to do I think it was a year and a half hard time in a Chinese prison without speaking Chinese. You can imagine how rough that was.
I bet you he
So
came out speaking Chinese, didn't he?
I don't know, never heard from him again.
He ain't allowed back.
Um,
Wouldn't matter anyway.
but whatever the case, like that shit scared me straight. And the other thing is that in China, the culture is if you want to get some kind of high. It's just an alcohol culture, kind of like Korea. You know what I mean? Like it's just if that's what you want to do, if you want to get fucked up, you do it with alcohol, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, I don't really drink that much, so for me, it's just if I need to relax, I typically go to like a hot spring or a bathhouse or not the gay kind, the Chinese kind, and or me and Wuyen will fuck or something like that. And that's where I get my relief from. You know what
Ba-
I'm saying?
Bathhouse High would be fucking awesome. What fucking
Mm.
good time that sounds like. Yeah.
I love it. I go all the time, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah.
Austin, how much you smoking that marijuana, man? That's the one. That's the vice you got, right?
Okay, like my major vice is caffeine. Like that's an issue. I'm excessive on that.
How many we talking?
Okay, so I was drinking energy drinks and coffee, and let's say I did 400 milligrams a day, which I think is the upper limit that they recommend. And I figured out that you could just buy caffeine pills. You could buy like 240 of them for like $10. So I just like take a caffeine pill every 4 or 5 hours throughout the day, and it really brings me back, man. It really makes me feel like a drug addict that I'm taking these pills.
Why don't you take modafinil or something like your brother does? Why don't you just take the fucking pill to stay awake the natural way?
I think that's a prescription.
That's what I
You
mean.
know,
The
yeah.
Does
natural way.
Chris
Get
take
your.
Does he take that?
But he's
That shit's
taking it.
powerful.
He's taking it ever since he's had two jobs. He's had both.
That's like Adderall, man. That shit, like you
Yeah.
are on when you take that shit. Yeah, I didn't know about that, Austin, until I went to Columbia. Chase told me about it because he was studying for some exam, and I was like, I'll give this a try. And I was like, this is just like fucking Adderall. Like I was studying for an exam, and that shit is powerful. Wow.
I have abused that shit. Austin, we'll get back to you, but I have abused those pills, but it was all for a purpose. Like I was abusing it because I had to. Like I was terrified I wouldn't be able to finish the dissertation. So at least I abused it with a purpose, and I got what I needed out of it. And then after I had finished what I needed to do, I stopped. Like it didn't stay with me.
Chase, did you come across people? I mean, you both worked in mental health asylums. I've heard that people that abuse cannabis that have a precondition or like a predisposition towards schizophrenia, it would bring that out of people. Did you have people that
Oh
came
yeah.
in for that were like hallucinating because they were using marijuana too frequently?
It was really tough. I felt bad for them because it was substance induced psychosis, right? So I mean, they're fine. Something's wired different with the brain. They smoked some spice or some weed, and it just went the wrong direction. So what they do is they put them on these antipsychotics, and then they never take them off. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like the episode's over. Let's wean him off this shit, and then just be like, you have a sensitive brain. Don't ever fucking smoke again. Just you're normal. I thought they did that unbelievably poorly. I was reading the files. I'm like, this kid had a substance induced psychosis, and we never took him off the medication to see if it's still. It was horrible. Those are like flashbacks. Those are horrible memories, man. Felt terrible
I
for
had
those people.
I had several friends in Austin. I'm curious if you ran across this who just abused weed throughout their teenage years. Like, I mean, wake and bake, they're getting high in class, just always high, always. And I saw genuine mental decline. They just became slower. Their memory totally shot. And like, I'm not anti-marijuana or anything like that. I'm just saying that I did have friends, and I really did see a serious slowdown on them mentally. Did you ever see that, Austin, with some heavy weed people?
Yeah, I definitely knew people like that. And in my worst like marathons of smoking marijuana, I got like that too. And it's like it is a coping mechanism, especially like I found that if you did marijuana occasionally, it raised your awareness and it made you think differently. And it was like a really creative substance that was helpful. And when I did it constantly, it dulled me. So it was like how I was using it to escape reality. It became something that made reality too intense when I did it every once in a while. It's something I used just to be numb and be fuzzy, like throughout the entire day. I didn't have to think about anything. I had a shitty memory, but guess what, man? All your traumas in your past. So if your memory sucks, you're not thinking about all the things that torture you. I think that could be part of it. But maybe there's just like a hedonic aspect where, but again, like Chase agreed, like at a certain point when you're doing it every day, it's not even enjoyable anymore, and you're in a haze constantly. Like the euphoria goes away eventually, and you're just doing it maybe for that or because there's no motivation to do anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love how you said fuzzy. It does kind of make you feel a little fuzzy when you're high, you know? It's just like it's a good feeling, fuzzy, but you don't get shit done. Yeah.
All right, boys, I got something for you guys just to violently change topics. I discovered a podcast recently through Tim Dillon, who I've always admired. I like his rants. I really, really like it.
He
He's
he
got some
might
great
he
rants.
might be one of the best natural ranters I've ever heard. My like it's just you listen. You can't help but listen. He makes sense. He makes a lot of
I
sense.
thought about sending you this podcast, but I just assumed you weren't going to listen to it because it's a commitment to listen to a whole podcast.
Oh, yeah. Never the whole thing.
Uh, it's a podcast called "Are You Garbage?" and Tim Dillon was on it, and they have a series of questions that were so good. So some of these are my questions, and some of these are their questions, but they just elicit interesting responses. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask a couple questions here, and I just want to see your thoughts. All right, all right. Is that okay? Are you down for this?
Yeah, I love good questions, man.
All right, Chase. How do you feel about the supermarket rotisserie chicken?
I think it's strategically placed in the back. So we have to fucking walk through that hole. It should be in the fucking front. And they always put it in the, well, at least Costco does those motherfuckers. And from what I've heard lately, it's gotten smaller.
Really? That
There's
was the
been,
whole point. It was a huge thing. It was cheap.
well, look, get off all that. Now, do I buy it? Absolutely. And I put it, I use it for my salad. I'll make a kick-ass salad with some chicken I don't have to cook. That's what I use that shit for, man.
Good man. I like, but you gotta eat it quickly because it'll
Got to eat it quickly.
congeal.
That's the first thing you eat when you get home. I'm making a salad with chicken. That's what I'm doing.
Austin,
Nobody
you ever
else touched
fuck
the
with the
chicken.
rotisserie chicken, man?
I'm a huge fan. They don't put them in the back where I'm at. They put them in the exact front.
Costco, they
You,
do. Costco.
you got to break it down, make like a big thing of chicken salad or chicken salad with it with mayonnaise and lemon juice and stuff. It's
So
delicious.
you use it. You don't like just right off the bone. You're like, nah, I'm gonna make something even better with this chicken. Yeah.
He works in a kitchen, by the way.
Oh,
So
yeah, you
Yeah,
know
I
what you're
got
doing, don't you?
yeah, I
Yeah.
got the idea from the kitchen because they have a really good tarragon
see,
chicken salad. I was like, dude, this is delicious. I want to make it. And the rotisserie chicken, it's already made. It's cheap. It's a great deal.
Wow, man. Austin, so Austin, you kind of know your way around the kitchen. Is that fair? Like are you a cook? You know what I mean?
No, I'm
At
not a
home.
cook. At
Okay.
home, not even then, really. But I'm
what
around a lot of pretty
Uh,
talented people that cook in
okay.
front of me all the
You
time.
picked up a thing or two. Yeah, I got
so,
Yeah,
you.
so,
I
so,
watch.
so
I
Austin,
watch.
Dean fancies himself a decent cook. I would say that, right? You're a decent cook, right? You took a class on it and shit like that. Like you taught a
Yeah,
class on
Wuyen's
it.
way better though.
But
Wuyen
you
does all
taught
the
a class on cooking, did you not?
I did. Yeah, I
Yes.
did. Yeah.
So if I had a lot of money and I brought you guys into this dark room and it came out and it was Iron Chef scenario where it's Dean versus Austin, who do you guys think is winning?
I have no idea what Austin's skill
No,
level
dude,
is.
I'm
I
bad.
don't
If Dean has a
know.
passion, if he taught a class about, he's winning automatically.
I
But
mean,
I've had
it was like making cookies and shit like that, you know?
okay,
Like,
maybe not.
that's all it was, dude. Like, here's how you make a pancake, you know?
I,
Like
I
there
don't know.
was
That's important information to know how to do that. Absolutely.
I'm pretty good at pancakes. I practiced so much. Like when I was in true fat fuck mode, like a good 220 pounds, I was cooking pancakes all the time, man. I love that shit, you
If you
know.
could cook one thing really well, Dean, what would you cook? Like if you could just, man, I knocked this out and it's fucking
You're saying in a fantasy situation?
yes. Well, yeah, like it's doable. You haven't done it, but yeah, the fantasy, the ultimate meal you wish you could make.
Oh, I really admire Howard with his barbecue skills, man. I think if you were a
Mm,
real barbecue master and people would
yeah.
come, you had a reputation, like, yeah, there's barbecue. I don't know what I mean. Dean's cooking there. Oh, holy shit.
Dude,
Yes, 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 yes. We're there. Well, who
that
can
could
I invite? Who can I? Yeah,
that could get you laid consistently with a skill
oh,
like that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Barbecue, dude, that's top tier shit.
As a Southern boy, that is a good answer. It's a very good
All
answer.
right, all right. I got another one for you guys. All right.
Wait. What, Austin? What would you cook? I'm just curious. I'm curious if you could cook one meal. What would it be?
Uh, chicken salad sandwich.
He's already living the
That's
dream.
one
You've
of one of
achieved
my favorite
enlightenment.
things.
No chocolate souffle for him, man. He's like, I'm already living the dream,
See,
baby.
I'm
I
like
got all
way
I
ahead of you guys. You don't even have to ask me that ridiculous question. I've been living the dream for
well, I
years.
respect them.
Hey, wait.
All right, all
I
right.
just want to say I would do chicken fried steak. Chicken fried steak really well. I'd be proud of that.
But that's for you. That's
I'd
not
make it
for
for
others.
everybody.
If
If there was time,
you
everybody was
love,
together, I
but
would.
not everybody loves chicken fried steak.
It
Like,
doesn't
you know,
matter. That's what they're eating that
it's
night.
for you. It's for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who
Okay.
doesn't like
All
chicken
right.
fried steak? Everybody loves chicken.
Austin, how do you feel about chicken fried steak?
I'm not super familiar with chicken fried steak. I think
See
the
what I
last time I
mean,
had
Chase?
it, it was in a frozen
So,
like meal.
next question.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it.
All right, Chase. You pee in the shower,
Yeah. On my
Austin?
toes. I do it on my toes because it's supposed to kill
On the
athlete's
feet.
foot.
On the
On the
feet.
toes.
Wow.
They say it kills
Okay.
athlete's foot. That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't,
Austin.
not a
Austin.
lot, occasionally. I
I
gotta
try
have
not to, but I think there's like a physiological response when the water is a perfect temperature and you
Mhm.
lose control of your muscles. That's how
Oh,
it
so it's like
feels.
not even it's not a choice for you. It's
Is
just it
this
No,
has to happen.
this we're not talking a bath, Austin. We're talking about shower.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
All
do you
right,
pee
Chase.
on your toes when you pee, Austin, or do you know?
No,
Oh,
I'm not
Austin's
worried
so
about
lucky.
athlete's foot.
He's
I
not
think
gonna
that's
do that
fake
shit.
too.
Come on. Man. Do you brush your teeth in the shower?
Never,
Never.
never.
You psychopath.
Guys, all right, so this is something I found out. Like, so when I started dating Wu Yin, he always brushes his teeth in the shower. And so I started brushing my teeth. I thought he was a savage too. And he's like, everybody does this in China. What's fucking wrong with you? Everybody does it, you know?
The
It's a wet thing.
but Dean, you
Now
know
I
what?
started brushing my teeth in the shower. My toothbrush is in the shower with the
Dean,
toothpaste.
you know this can go too far, though, right? Once you start brushing your
What do you
teeth, you
mean?
start saving, you start
Brushing
being
your
like,
ass or something?
remember the episode with Kramer where he's like, going through cooking food in the shower,
Making food in the
rinsing
bathtub.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can go that
Yeah.
far. You better watch out.
It could go that far. It could go that far. I'd like to think that there's wisdom amongst Chinese people, but that was a distinction I wasn't quite ready for. Yeah. Okay. What was when you were growing up, Chase, and you opened up the pantry? Let's say you're like,
Gushers, foot by the
13,
foot,
14
or gushers.
snacks. That was your snack of choice. If you were
If I
happy to see
had
one snack in
it,
there,
if I,
what was
the-
it?
you know how well I love both. This is how I would do it. Gushers
Yeah.
came in a pack of 10, I'd shove every fucking one of them in my mouth at once to get like a big chew type of experience. Sometimes though, I'd go one at a time and squeeze it, like get the little juice out of it, like and savor it. But with
Are
foot by the
gushers
foot,
still around?
listen, but
I
foot by
think
the
they got
foot,
rid of them. They gave you cancer or some shit. Like that shit couldn't have
no,
been
man, they're
healthy.
still there. They're still there. Fruit by the foot, I'd roll up and make and eat it like a sandwich, like all rolled up and just
I
sandwich.
remember you. Did you? Am I remembering this right? That you would roll the foot by the foot around
Yes.
your thumb
No. Oh,
and
to
eat.
suck on it
You
sometimes. I
suck
didn't
on
like
it. Huh?
that was no, that's what's that one? The one that you wrap around it? The one you peel out of the plastic and eat it like a paper?
That's
What?
fruit by that's
That's
fruit
not
by the
fr
foot.
No, it's not.
You're
That's a
thinking
fruit
of
roll up.
fruit
That's a
roll ups.
fruit roll
Yes,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Fruit by the
yeah,
foot's a foot long or 3 feet long, dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a big one, man.
I'd
Yeah.
take
All right,
fruit roll up.
Austin.
Fruit roll up's the best. Easy.
Okay, Austin. This is. Let's say that this is back in the like pre-divorce days, that sort of thing. What did you hope to see in the kitchen? If you were hungry, you needed a snack. What was the ideal?
I got to be honest with you. My family didn't keep a lot of snacks in the house, so I was not
Really?
privy to that. I remember going over to
Spy.
your house and going into your pantry and getting Rice Krispie treats with
Oh, Rice
chocolate with
Krispies. So
yeah with chocolate sprinkles on them. I remember I was
oh,
eating
shit.
one day at your house and Garrett was there and he goes, "Oh, don't eat that." And he grabs my hand and I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He's like, "Oh, I thought there was ticks covering it." I was like, "What are you talking about, man? I
I
don't
was
even."
about to
It's just
say
a
he was the fattest of all the brothers. He would have been shoving that shit in his breast.
he was
Wow.
fat, but I don't he momentarily hallucinated and thought like there's ants or something all over the Rice Krispie treat. It was just a weird memory, but it happened in your kitchen.
Man, that's a good one. All right,
Well, what was
Chase,
yours?
for me,
Yeah, you had to do good
um,
too. Yeah.
yeah. See, when post divorce, mom would get like fancy shit from a Central Market in Dallas, and she
Silver
had
spoon.
these cookies, and they were like elite gourmet cookies. That was my favorite thing. The
Okay.
greatest cookie there. They were like these white chocolate blueberry cookies. Holy shit, they were so good. That was the ultimate, man. I'll always remember that. Um, okay. Did you guys do school lunch?
I will say that I remember growing up, my biggest distinction I remember from my mom and dad, my mom's fridge versus my dad's fridge. It was
Eat.
elite, top
Yep.
notch food to fish sticks and
Yep.
maybe if you're lucky, ketchup.
Yep.
It's traumatizing now that I think about it. It's traumatized me. Still
That was
recovering
actually that was
from it.
another question they asked. All right,
It was
ketchup in the fridge or out the fridge?
But,
in the
Ketchup.
fridge.
Did you keep it in the fridge or outside?
oh, always in the fridge, but it's fine outside. You never thought
It's
about
a
it that way.
It's
divisive
fine.
issue, Austin. It's a divisive issue. There's a lot of
I
people only put it outside. They like lukewarm ketchup. They don't like it cold, you
You
know?
know,
I
you
didn't
know,
even know you could leave it outside.
dude, the Colombians down here leave the butter out. But they like it
That's
like
the
easy
thing.
to
Yeah.
spread. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. But nobody did school. Chase, you never did school lunch. You always
Every
brought your own
day I
lunch.
did school lunch. Every fucking day I get school lunch. Yeah.
You do school lunch, Chase. Was there anything you actually looked forward to? Like, did you like the
Friday,
pizza?
Friday
The
was pizza day. Everybody loved
little
pizza day.
little rectangles, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely, man. Pizza was not bad. It was pretty good. And if the lunch lady liked me, sometimes she'd give me two. If it's like game day,
Whoa,
oh, Chase, do you
damn.
want two? I was like, yeah, goddamn right, I want to. Yeah.
Damn, man. Shit. Austin, you remember any of that? How did you feel about cafeteria food, man? Were you living on that?
Of course, I really enjoyed breakfast. They give you
Did
OJ,
breakfast? Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
Early
and like
enough. Yep.
batter dip sausages. I always like those, and to this day, I'll get the Jimmy Dean batter dip sausages that are still delicious.
Yeah.
I remember,
See why America's so healthy right there. God damn.
yeah, remember strawberry milk in a carton, and dude,
Oh, yeah.
black people love strawberry milk. It's
Do
something
they? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I didn't even know
they
that. Oh,
they do in the South, man. They do here.
wow.
But I always
What
look
about
forward to taco
Kool-Aid? Do
salad.
they like Kool-Aid too, Austin?
Now that's racially charged, but they didn't give Kool-Aid at the cafeteria. They gave milk, which is weird because like a lot of people have milk allergies and stuff. Back then, it was not considered. But anyway, the taco salad was where it's at. That was like by far the best
Taco
thing.
salad.
Taco salad
Wow.
was
Cool.
good. I had forgot about that. That was an excellent one. Loved it.
I'll tell you.
And on
So
the
I have
shitty
two.
days, you couldn't get lunch, you always got pasta. Like, I don't like it. I'm gonna go get pasta. That's what you
There's one thing
process.
I remember from Jones Valley. This was like a young phallic obsession with mine, a precursor to being gay. But they had these things sometimes called Little Smokies. Do you remember Little Smokies, like the little tiny wieners? They were great. I loved those things when I was a kid. I loved the Little Smokies. They were great. And later on, my high school, because it was Christian high school, we had a connection with Chick-fil-A, and they'd bring in Chick-fil-A sandwiches that you could order. And man, getting a spicy chicken sandwich for lunch in high school, it's good
Dude,
shit.
this is the
Good
difference
shit.
between a public school education and a private school. Even lunch is better.
Yeah,
It's way
Chick-fil-A.
better in the private school. Yeah.
It's great, man.
Hey,
I
do you
love
guys
that.
remember the pigs in the blanket? Remember those? Remember that
Those are
Oh
beautiful?
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever invented that should have a statue in Washington. Just take down Lincoln and put that guy up. Everybody loves pigs in a blanket, man. They're delicious.
I remember Dean mentioned Jones Valley. I remember it was one cold morning. Me and Dean, I guess, had been dropped off together, waiting to go inside. And I asked Dean what his favorite type of car was, and I don't even know how old he would have been, but he said Infinity. I never forgot that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's one of
Really?
my
I said
earliest.
Infinity.
Yeah, it's one of my
Oh,
earliest memories of Dean.
I have no memory of that at all. I do remember this though. We made you guys are what did you call the little car Hot Wheels? Hot Wheels,
Yeah, yeah,
You
sure.
had an epic collection of Hot Wheels. And I remember for because Austin's family just they knew cars and shit. And they showed me so many cars. And I always remember the one I remember as a kid is one of the Hot Wheels was something called a prowler. A prowler, does that sound right? Like it had the two wheels off to the side. It's like a triangle with two wheels off to Austin. Please help me stop sounding like an idiot. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what
I
I'm
mean,
talking
you're
about?
spot on. The Prowler was like late '90s, early 2000s, like cool, and
Yes.
it went away. And dude, it's interesting you mentioned it. I probably haven't seen a Prowler in 20 years on the road. You know,
I'll always
they
remember that
probably.
little Hot Wheels thing. I was like, that is a cool car, man. I thought it was so awesome.
Let me ask you about this, Dean, because you were around when I was like in middle school. I collected Pokemon cards. Did you do
Oh yeah,
this
me
as well?
too. Sure. Yeah, that was the thing, man. It was huge.
I was pretty into it, and I would basically buy cards every week, and Marty would bring me cards home, and I had an entire binder full, and I had a lot of really high grade like holographics because I didn't play with them. I just opened the package and then put them away, and I had
Yeah.
like holographic Charizards, and I looked on
Ours-
eBay
That
and
was a good one,
what
man.
they're
Damn.
can you without looking it up, how much is a 1999 holographic Charizard like top condition going being asked for on eBay? Would you think?
3 to 500K.
I'm gonna No way. I'm gonna say like I'm gonna say like $100. $100. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
People are asking $150,000.
I was closer than you.
No, no fucking way. That can't be right.
Well,
No
Austin, where
fucking.
is this notebook? Just
I
curious.
used to have a holographic
Austin,
Charizard.
is
I
this
had
notebook
one.
around? Can I find it? I'll split the profits with you if I can. Where is it?
Oh,
Look,
gone.
look, on the lower end, I mean that might be an absurd price, but I think at the very least I had tens of thousands of dollars worth of
Oh,
holographics
shit.
and other cards that were just lost. They were not worth anything back then, man. They were a toy that you didn't play with anymore. And no one told us like, hey, your toys in 25 years are going to be collector's items that people are going to like
Yeah.
nerds are going to buy for
Yeah.
$25,000. Like,
I was talking to mom the other day, and she was telling me like, you know what? Where are your Beanie Babies? And I was like, my Beanie Babies, mom. Yeah. She's like, I want to sell your Princess Diana bear, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't get rid of them. I always liked those things. Actually, Chase, I found out mom's been looking for all kinds of shit at the house, and of course, everything's fucking gone because somebody threw everything away that
Yeah,
she ever
yeah,
had.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's fucking pissed about
Well,
that.
I'll say that I used to get for Christmas those big GI Joes, like a foot tall, like with like in
Yeah, she
like
talked about those too. Chase was an idiot. He never played with them. Thank God I came along and fixed that
I
shit.
never opened them. Like as a kid, I was like, I'm just gonna leave. Like I don't know why. That was my intuition. They would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today. But
Hundreds
Dean
of
came in
thousands.
there,
Just like my
ripped
Beanie
the
Baby.
box
Yeah.
apart, playing with them, losing eyes and arms, and we threw them out. Yeah, shit.
That was the other thing mom taught. We had a long conversation the other day. She was like, I remember you playing with his G.I. Joes and we'd always find them dismembered with their heads cut off. And I used to have whole tribunals out there in the Alabama backyard, man, where I'd be like, this guy is, you betrayed your country, and I'd like put him in water and freeze him and put him in the freezer and stuff. They were
Oh,
definitely like, I had the possibility of becoming a Hannibal Lecter like kid. Luckily, it just turned into being gay, but it was a whole ordeal, man. I remember that stuff. It was fun,
I
you
don't
know.
remember my storylines. I remember spending hours playing with GI Joes,
Oh,
just
yeah.
tribes going to war against the opposite, like having my leader. But I don't remember the detail. I wish I could.
My favorite one, Chase. Sorry, Austin. I'm on a brother track right now. Chase, you remember the battle battle droids, battle
Battle
monsters,
Beast.
battle beasts? They were these little things. I like those the best because you had so many of them, man. And I still remember there was one that was he was the white crocodile. He was the leader. He was the best one, man. I
Yeah,
remember
you
that
fucking ripped his arm off, and I couldn't find it. I had to replace it with
because
somebody else's.
they could all pop off. That's what was so great about it. Yeah, I loved it, man. That was good
I wonder
stuff.
how much he's worth. I'm gonna look that up. The White Crocodile Battle Beast.
I
Jesus
don't think
Christ.
anybody knows what that shit is. All
Priceless.
right, I got a couple more questions for y'all. Yeah. Did you get when you were growing up, Austin? I'm curious about you. Did the family ever go out to a chain restaurant? Like a Chili's or Outback Steakhouse or some shit like that. Like it was a special occasion.
Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse. What's Texas Roadhouse? I don't really remember what that is. What is it?
If I remember correctly, no, that's not. I mean, it's just like it's a chain restaurant. Sells. It's like really generic steak, potato, like home cooking type of stuff. I
Okay.
believe now Texas Roadhouse is one of the fastest growing chain restaurants in the U.S.
No shit. I didn't
Yeah, I
even know
believe
it.
so.
Texas. Chase, do you remember when we went to chain restaurant?
Again, those are varying experiences depending on the parent. One was a buffet with the
No,
father
no, I'm
who,
talking about before when they were together. Did they ever do it?
oh no, no. It was a buffet and he would tell you eat as much
But
as you want. I'm covering the cost. Don't worry about it. Little did you know it was
love
all you can
saying that.
eat. Yeah. And then it was
Yeah.
McDonald's, but I never got to order what I wanted at McDonald's. It was always the special.
Okay, the special. Chase, I got one for you. All right. Chase used to play football back in high school and stuff. If it was game day, did you wear a jersey to school?
Think it was mandatory. Everybody was expected to wear the jersey.
Oh, you had to do it. It wasn't a choice.
You wanted
Okay.
to. It wasn't like you were forced to do it, but yeah, you're supposed to wear your jersey on game day.
Yeah. Did you get a little hyped? You know? Was there like were you feeling it during the day?
I did what Austin did. I'd juice up on fucking amphetamine or caffeine at that then. It wasn't amphetamines and play the
That
game.
means okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just get excited and stuff. All right, all right. I
Yeah.
was wondering. You didn't have a leather jacket, right?
No, man, I never did.
I always thought leather jackets were lame. I was
Yeah, I never
weird
thought
with
they were
that
that
shit.
cool. Yeah.
Um, Tell me this. Who did you sit with at lunch?
Uh,
Lunch, high school. Who you sitting with?
early years in high school were difficult. There was like a feeling out period of who was allowed to sit where. Like I changed
Yeah.
tables a lot freshman and sophomore year. By junior year, I just sat with Eric and Anand. Remember Anand, the Indian? We just had a
Oh,
great.
yeah.
We cracked joke. We had a great time, man. Just three of us. It
Wait,
was fantastic.
wait. You, Eric, and Anand?
Oh yeah.
That was what a weird combo. An Indian, a fucking freak, and a football player all
It's,
together.
we had a great time,
Yeah.
man. We had a great time. I got some stories
Wow.
about that shit. Yeah.
Austin, where were you sitting, man?
Uh, not with the nerd, like not even with the outcast, just like with the average kids, the kids that
Yeah.
had nothing really going on, but weren't especially picked on or anything. Just average weird kids,
What?
most of
Hey,
them.
so lunch always rotated, man. So sometimes when you got like a new schedule, like sorting out the lunch order the first day, lunch is a little nerve-wracking. You're like, oh shit, who do I know? Where can I sit? Like lunch is probably the worst anxiety you're gonna have if you're a new kid. Probably,
Oh
right?
yeah. New kid. That's really rough.
That's
Yeah.
super fucking rough. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to sit with the music people. It was always with like the people in like the weirdo, like, we're in a band and or we're the art kids and stuff like that. I used to hang out with them. That was basically it.
Why?
You
You're
know,
not musically inclined.
they smoked weed.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'd probably be the better
That was
conversation,
fun.
right?
We,
Yes,
we,
that's the
I
better
had it in with
conversation.
them because I smoked weed back in. I was one of the very first ones to smoke weed, so like it was an in,
These are
and so
good.
I.
These are good
Mm.
questions. Next week, I have a psychological evaluation I made on my own. I'll give it to both of you guys. We'll see how you do.
Okay, that's cool, man. Who did you first get weed from? Who introduced you? I'll start. It was Chase. No surprise, But how about you, Chase? Where did
Oh,
it? Who
who gave you the
introduced?
weed and what kind of time did you have the first time? That's the proper question.
It was sitting down with you and Greg in Auburn, and we watched SpongeBob.
You didn't get
That
high
was
though, did you? You didn't get high.
no, I did it wrong. I
Well, no,
didn't
the
do the
first
pop.
time you got high. The first time you got high, and what time did you have?
I don't know if I can specific. I'm pretty sure it was I think it was like with a gay dude, and we fucked. And I remember the exquisiteness of the fucking. You
Wow.
know,
What?
yeah, yeah,
This was in high
yeah.
school?
College.
You smoked weed in high
College.
school, dude.
I did, but I wasn't getting high. I wasn't
Oh.
getting high. I was smoking all the time, but yeah, I
What?
didn't. Yeah, like this is something I really didn't understand. I was smoking them like I would a cigar. I wasn't really inhaling them. I was
Yeah.
just kind of letting them smoke, like sitting around in my mouth. I didn't even. I just always was. What I liked doing was hanging out with people. People thought I was cool. So I was like, I guess I just can't feel it, but whatever. People think I'm cool, whatever.
Sure, sure.
And then I remember one day it hit me. Like I think it was I did the sort of technique, the deep deep, and I was like, oh, that's what I've been missing all this time. And yeah, I do remember one particular fuck session with this guy. What was his name? Levi Johnson. Levi Johnson. Boy, he was a hot piece of ass,
How
man. I
was that
still remember.
Johnson on Johnson?
Dude, I mean, he was playing with my Johnson at this time, but
Man,
dude, that was a
sausage fest.
damn good fucking. I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember it was in Frisco, Texas. Good times, good times. Anyways, yeah, that was my first real.
Dean's going too much into detail. Yeah, the
Sorry,
night was
sorry.
young and we had some wine and some weed and yeah. All right, so I don't know who I got it from. It was Eric's buddies. Eric got it
Ah,
for us. I think it's like some artsy fucking kids. And we
how
were
old?
16, 16.
Teen. That's about the time.
We were
Yeah,
at the Mexican house and me and Eric, nobody else wanted to do it. We went in the back. Remember that kid house in the back, the little kitty house?
it was always crazy. It was a kid. It was like a little, really well built little
Little
house.
kitty
Like,
house is fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah. We got high on the top of the kitty house. I still to this I can see it perfectly. Even like the lines on his face. I've never seen an individual in my laugh so hard. He was laughing at insane shit too. Like shit that's just you should not be laughing at. And he was laughing harder than he had ever laughed before. It was one of the greatest nights of my life. I was like, this is fantastic. This guy's fantastic. I miss Eric, man. Eric has the best laugh. Fuckers always
yeah.
laugh. It's just psychotic laugh. Like it's Joker
Like
laugh.
Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
Yes, like Ren. But
Yeah.
he's really that happy. Like he thinks it's that funny. Anyway, it's a great memory. All right. Austin, what about you, brother? What was your first time? How did you get it? Hopefully it's not me. He's like, actually Chase gave me one too.
Yeah, I believe it
Maybe it
was.
was. Yeah,
The
it was.
definitely the first time.
For
Yeah,
me?
ever.
You did not.
Yeah, dude, in
Ace,
the
you're a
garage
corrupting
in the
force,
rental
man.
house with that Austin guy.
Well,
Rental.
Austin had it. So, that sounds familiar. So, what happened? Tell me the story.
I mean, I got so high, I hallucinated for the first and only time I from marijuana.
Where is this at? This was at the Mexican house.
This is at the rental house
Oh,
behind Grissom.
yeah, okay, all right. So Austin was over and we were smoking and you came out and we got you high.
Yeah, in the garage.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
came out, my vision was going forward and backwards
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
I'd never
Whoa.
heard that happening before. So I wasn't saying things that weren't there, but it felt like I was like on a ship or something. And I remember eating peanut butter and my mouth is so dry I thought I was gonna choke on it.
What?
And yeah,
How old were you?
14, 15.
So how would you rate that experience?
Like 4 out of 10.
So I got to tell this story because it just flashed back. We're at that horrible rental house. You know that? Yeah, the fucking awful, soulless, horrible. You know, no, yeah, the one where we got high. You high, right? the rental house. It's awful. Eric comes over. Me and Eric get fucking blitzed in the back bedroom, like on the floor. I just have a mattress, and he gets hungry, and he comes out. He's so high he can't open the tuna fish. Like he just can't figure it out. So he starts going at it with a knife, like in the kitchen, and he pries it open, like in the middle with his hands. He goes to the bathroom, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm making a sandwich, and Vic comes in, and Vic's like, Chase, what is this? And he looks at the can of tuna. And he goes, "Did you do this?" He goes, "What the fuck are you a psychopath? Are you a fucking serial killer?" Like he's saying this. And Eric walks in behind him. And I'm looking at Eric and I'm looking at him. And Eric goes, "Please, no." Like he didn't want me to rat him out. So I took it. I took the blame. And Vic just, you know how Vic does. Like, you're fucking nuts. You're crazy. There's something wrong with you in your head. Like this. I saved Eric, man. I remember that.
Fatherhood.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this pretty nicely goes into the next one. When you're high, what was your ultimate marijuana snack? Your go-to? It was the of
Hmm.
all the experiments you did, it was the one where you're like, God damn, I figured it out, you know?
Go ahead, chef.
Yeah,
I know you got an answer for
yeah.
this. Yeah.
I'll go fast.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like a cheap Wendy's like dollar burger when a dollar would get you a burger at Wendy's like 15 years ago.
yeah. Yeah. So, hey, this actually reminds Chase before you answer. So, Tim Dillon went on an unbelievable rant about Wendy's. It was one of the great rants of all time, and he talked about how he believes that like the greatest decline in fast food history was Wendy's. He said Wendy's used to be top tier. It was the best of all the fast food. Like a Wendy's burger was the most legit, and now it's just a sad place where people go to film TikTok fights. Like it is he's like, people look at it, it's like a FEMA camp, and I was like, Jesus Christ, he's right. Austin, did you love were you a Wendy's man? I never really went to Wendy's, so I couldn't comment. I just love the passion with which he argued about it.
I absolutely love Wendy's. I would go there every night. It got to the point where I couldn't go to sleep without it. It was an addiction. I had to go to Wendy's once a day, and it was cheap, dude. Like you could get a full meal for under $5 at Wendy's. It was
It
amazing.
For years, people thought Austin had a girlfriend, but really he was just at Wendy's down the
Wendy.
block.
Austin, dude, have you always been thin? Did you ever get a little, did you ever have a fat phase like
Yeah, I'm
Eric?
getting sick of that, man. When are you gonna get fat or something like that? What's wrong
Yeah,
with you?
it's just like it's in your DNA, just thin to your core.
Uh, when I do pack on fat, it's in the stomach area, so you wouldn't even be able to see it from this angle.
Uh, okay.
But I do get a little bit pudgy. I try not to, I try to watch what I eat, try not to eat too many calories a day. But yeah,
Have you guys ever
Right.
gotten high with somebody and the food topic? There was a couple people you get high with, and it would be at their house or my house. But I don't have anything in the fridge, and they would come back with something really delicious. Like it didn't matter what you had; they got creative in the kitchen because they were high. They would make all
Um,
types of stuff, man. Really,
no, never had experience. Never. No, no, no,
man. I had
no.
one or two people like that, just out of the blue. I remember getting high with a lifeguard. He was this young kid. I didn't like him. He came. I don't know why he was over there. We got high. I was bored. He's like, I don't got any food. He came back with this just concoction of chocolate and marshmallow. Like he just
Made it happen.
is.
Yeah.
I changed my opinion of him for the rest of my life. I was wrong about you, brother. You are cool. You have something there. Yeah.
I will say that being hot, like one of the great experiences in my life is my first real weed friend was a guy named Josh, and Josh was a fat fuck. I mean, this dude was 300 plus pounds. He was fat, you know, but we used to go to Whataburger and get the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich. Yeah, on the Texas toast.
Oh
Good
God, no.
fucking God. It was the greatest high experience of all time. Or the sweet and spicy burger. Oh my God, it was fucking amazing, man. And I remember us just having orgasms there at Whataburger while high. It was amazing. I will
Dean,
always remember that.
Dean, do you remember the fat person salad from KFC? Do you remember
Of
those?
course.
They didn't call it
Yeah,
that, but
man.
that's essentially what it was. Just a
It was the
bowl of
bowl. Yeah, yeah. I
it
think they
was
still have it.
a
I think they still
bowl
have it.
of mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken strips, corn,
Yep.
something else fried. It's just
Yeah.
like, what is this? What is this heart
Glorious,
attack
man.
waiting to
But
happen?
you know what? At least they fucking they embraced it, man. For remember they had the double down sandwich,
Whoever
like the two
whoever
pieces
approved
of
that.
fried chicken, Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
was a team meeting at KFC and somebody pitched that. They're, oh, this is great to kill him.
Yep.
And the head guy who was fucking Christ-like, brilliant, said, you know what? We're gonna embrace it. Everybody that comes to our restaurant is gonna die early, and we're gonna say yes, and we're gonna help you get there. And that's what they did
Why
with
not?
that.
Why deny it? Why deny? Embrace it. Embrace the identity, man.
I love
It,
it. Love it.
that I'm such an American to my core because some of like and like, I'm also genuinely like in my soul, I am a fat guy, like a big
You
fat
are.
300.
You are, dude. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because let me one of the some of the great joys of my life are being high and going to Taco Bell with $5. And with that $5, you can just get tons of burritos, like little bean burritos for 89 cents and stuff like that. And you know what? You're gonna come back, you're gonna be totally like Chase, you used to say a little too full, just a
I
little too
I
full.
take it back.
Oh,
My high meal's Taco Bell. And I know every single time I'm gonna enjoy it and then regret it immediately. And I still do
yeah,
it. Still go.
still do it. Still
Yep.
do it, man. Yeah, I love that shit. It's powerful, powerful.
These are great questions. We should steal these questions from them every week and just do it. I mean, what are they
Some of
gonna
them are
do?
there, some
We'll,
of them are mine,
we're giving
Yeah.
better answers than they do anyway. So
Let's see here. Okay. Have you ever experienced a real natural disaster, like a scary one?
Austin, go ahead.
No.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst ones that I experienced, what really wasn't that bad. What was I was in Canada and something occurred called like heat bubble, and it was like 110 degrees for like 5 days. And
Oh,
my
no AC?
friend, my friend didn't have AC, man. So basically, I didn't
Canada.
sleep for
So
five
weird.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it was
And were you
bad, dude.
like were you high or in recovery or like
Freshly in recovery, so maybe still in the post-acute withdrawal phase. I don't think I was smoking weed at the time, so yeah, it was bad.
I I was 20 years old at Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, living on the beach in Seagrove on 30A, and a
yeah.
hurricane came through, and it was a big one. And nobody else was down there. I was just This is where I was working in my summer. I think it was a 5 at one point, and when it came ashore, it was like a 4. And I don't know why I was like, no
Yeah,
big
because
deal.
we've fucking been through hurricanes and they were always like, it's no big deal.
I
Yeah.
stayed, we lost power. I was upstairs in that 2-story house. I was
Yeah,
upstairs.
yeah.
We lost power, but at no point, I was like, the wind was going. I was like, I got up the next morning. I didn't even think twice. I went to sleep. I woke up, shit was fucked. Downstairs was flooded. The fence was gone. One house just collapsed into the ocean. Like others were destroyed. And I was like, damn, I was like, I wonder how close that was. I acted like it was no big deal. After that, I was like, just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. Like that's probably a good
Yeah.
idea. Back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Underestimated
When
it.
I was in when I was in West Texas, I got to see what's called a haboob or
What
something,
is
which is
that?
like it's a
Seance?
dust storm.
Oh,
It's a dust storm. But I mean, like I'd seen dust storms in Lubbock before, but this was like some dune shit. Like I will always I remember I was with a guy at the time and we were fucking around and stuff. And we just kind of we just were like, is it already nighttime? And we looked through the window and it is a wall of red sand. Just I can't see more than a few feet out in front. And it's just and I was like, holy shit, it's like the mummy. Like it was this unbelievable thing. And after it was over, everything, every car, every building, every tree was just covered in red
damn.
sand. It was crazy. I was like,
Well,
this is some apocalyptic shit, you
if
know?
you were outside, what would have happened to you?
Well, you would have just wrapped your face in a
Yeah.
desperate attempt not to get shit in your eyes or mouth, you know? That's all I could think. And just hunker down and pray to God you can outlast it. But I'll never forget that. That shit was freaky. Yeah.
So I got another memory. This is kind of a natural disaster. I'm in Maui with my buddy Bruce, and I guess some neighbors up the road had bees. We're outside throwing the ball in the or something outside in the yard. They were us. I mean, thousands. They didn't sting us, but if they were in attack mode, I could totally see how someone could die by that. We went inside
Mm.
and they swarmed on the side of his house. There was thousands of them. It's just I don't know if we could have escaped it if they were aggressive. Like that
Wow.
scared me. That there was thousands. Like I would have swallowed one if I didn't have my hands in front of my face. Yeah, just scary.
Scary shit, man. Scary. Yeah. All right. The other ones are I don't know. I think Chase will have an opinion, Austin. I don't know how you'll feel about these, but I'll go ahead and ask him. How do you take your steak?
Medium rare. You
Medium
have to.
rare.
That's actually the proper common man's peon, peasant, whatever you want to call yourself, plebeian answer is when you go to places like where did you say you used to eat out at? What the fuck was it called?
Texas
Texas
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
That's actually the right thing to say because they don't know what they're doing. You say medium where you don't want it cooked well. But Austin, if you ever get the chance to go to like a Capitol Grill or like a like elite steak is like this is what we do, you get it rare. And every single time you get it rare, the waiter gives you he's like, yeah, okay. You know it. Like they acknowledge that you made the right choice. The waiter will tell you that. And it is sushi for me and a perfectly cooked steak. Those are my top two meals in the world. If I was to be killed, I would want both of them. It's like sex. And I told Dean one of my favorite memories is I remember telling Dean we went there. I told him to get the rare steak. Mom said, "No, no, no, get it medium rare." Dean listened, and I remember the look on his face when he took the first bite. Like he took it and he's like, "Mm." Like
This was a high
his
grade
eyes
steak.
popped out. He goes, "Oh my God, oh my God," and he just kept going. And I was like, "It's
It was
yes,
it was the filet de Oscar
yes."
from Capitol Grill. I will
Yes.
always covered in crab meat. All right, this shit was great. But I'm a rare man, obviously. It was a combination of Chase and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction asking for a bloody steak. And I
Bloody
really
as
think
hell.
that is it's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. But the other thing, so Tim Dillon, he went on a long rant about steakhouses and stuff. Did you know you can order a steak black and blue, which is
Yeah.
sushi grade?
Yeah. They got a
And
place in Auburn like that. Yep. Yep.
so
Yep.
that's kind of my next thing. I want to try it. Like get a
You don't.
very he says only some steaks. Like it has to be there's something called a Pittsburgh steak or something like that. But at an elite place, I want to at least one time try black and blue and see what it's like. Just
Elite.
to yeah,
Elite's the key
yeah,
word. So Austin,
yeah.
I just had a vision in my head. Call me a psychic, brother. I saw a vision of your future. And this podcast is world renowned. People treat us like gods. And I we get our big paycheck and me and Dean take you to Capitol Grill. Fucking high, blitzed, and we get you a rare steak, brother. Because I think you would appreciate this just as much as me and him did. Just Dean, don't wouldn't you agree? Don't you think he would agree?
I would even go so far as it's something I would demand of any friend
Yeah,
if we were in that situation
absolutely.
because it really does make a difference. It's one of those things that until you try it, you don't understand what you're missing.
Last time I was in Thailand, my buddy Boat took me to this top notch fucking Thai place because of the steak. He goes, every time I was in Thailand, a long time ago, he took me to steak. Like this shit sucks. America kills you. He took me to this place. They got better. I go, this is a 7 out of 10, Boat. This is fucking acceptable. But it's still, and he's like, oh, is America still better? I must try this. Like
Mm.
he's a fat rich man. He loves his food. He loves it. Fucking loves it. We got to take him too with Austin. He's gay. You got everybody be gay. It's fantastic.
An orgy. Let's do it. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into the episode, I'd like to acknowledge that some of those shorts on YouTube got 1,000 hits of the stories in particular about the institutions. Right?
Who
There's
made
the
those shorts?
I believe it was a
AI. Yeah.
Chase
Oh,
short.
yeah. Chase. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh,
Where you guys got every week there's a couple good rants, man. From
Yeah.
it's not one person. It could be any of us. It's fantastic.
yeah, but I'd
Chase, I
love
got
to,
another.
Dina. I don't want to cut you off, but can we maybe get a story from each of you if you have one in mind? Because I think those did really well and they were interesting
About
stories. So I think we
about,
should
about
get
what?
those going. About institutions, fights, people jumping out of windows, stuff like that. Like interesting stuff.
You know, I got a story. And I was at the mental hospital in West Palm Beach, and there was this guy there. His name was Jeffrey. I'll never forget him. He was just an asshole. He was old. There's something wrong with this guy. He's probably psychotic. He was fucking asshole. Treated everyone like shit. And I was sitting there with the only other white person on staff, Will, the nurse. And like Jeffrey just got done cussing me out. He's like, he doesn't know what's coming. I was like, what do you mean, man? He's like, Jeffrey's afraid of one thing, going to the state hospital. And next Tuesday, he's going to the state hospital. I was like, really? And I was like, when? Morning shift. And I was like, oh, I'm not working. Will's like, yeah, I'm not working, but I'm coming in to see it. He says, you should too. And I was like, okay. Me and Will showed up. I'm not scheduled to work till the afternoon. I came early. And these people came in like in the white suits, like the big guys in the white, all white, came for Jeffrey. It was I still remember this man screaming, like he fought with all his might not to go to the state hospital. It was worth coming in. It was just like, oh my God, like he doesn't want to go. He didn't. So I don't know what they do there. He fought with everything, biting, kicking, peeing, pissed himself, but they still took him. Yeah was fucking intense, man. I'm glad I went. I was like, wow, this is the mental hospital. This is what I signed
That
up
begs
for.
the question, though, Chase. You really don't know what happened at the hospital that he's going to?
I didn't want to know. Didn't make me more curious. I said, whatever happens down there, I want nothing to do with it. I got to get out of this crazy
I
shit.
I'm convinced in China that they euthanize all the mentally handicapped
Oh yeah.
because I have never seen a retarded person in China. In America, it's so common. You see somebody like on the spectrum or somebody, who's mentally ill. And it's just a common sight. I've never seen it once in China. I've never seen a kid in school on the spectrum. Like I'm convinced that they take them away quietly.
Spartan logic.
And
Take them to the cliff,
I,
right, and inspect them. Yep.
I have no evidence to prove this. No evidence at all. But
Because there is
I
no
can only,
evidence. That is your evidence. There's zero evidence.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's what
Yeah.
it is. Maybe
Yeah, they
that's why.
do have a track history of disappearing people,
What,
right?
Mm.
Austin, you were inquisitive on the fact you asking about why? Why didn't you? Did it make you curious about the state? Would it make you curious about the state hospital?
Very curious, yeah. I think it's like prison documentaries and stuff are fascinating, and
Me
I just
too.
wonder, it's
I
like a
like them.
weird subculture.
I got the feeling that you just got the feeling like, well, why is he going? What did he do? And I never got an answer. And I got the feeling that this was is almost just like, yeah, we're sick of him. We're sending him there. It's not the fact that he was unmanageable. It was just he was annoying. Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
places where the rejects of society gather. And I
Uh,
imagine a state hospital has to be one of those places.
couldn't do
You
it,
know?
bro. Couldn't do it. That's fuck that shit.
I want to ask Dean. Dean started something pretty important. He's reading The Mind Illuminated, right? How far are
I
you in
am.
that work?
Oh, just the first chapter, but it's pretty interesting. I appreciate the methodology that he's using. It's super simple, just going into breathing techniques and all that sort of stuff. I think he's got a real gift for writing because I didn't feel like I had to stop and think about what I just read at any moment. But the truth is, I'm far more interested in the Ego and Archetype book. That's the one I've been reading more, just because I found that I love mythology and legends and stuff like that. So I'm already to the reading point for next week just because I was into it. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I'll have to let you know how the meditation experiences go. So far, I've only been doing the prayer thing, effectively. The meditation thing almost always ends in disaster, where I lose track of the breathing and the mind starts to wander. And I'm like, wow, I made it 5 seconds. Great, which I suppose is progress of a kind. But I'll let you know if there's a moment of genuine progress. So far, I've got nothing to report, bro.
Okay, that's fair, man. But I was just like, I'm always really encouraged when people get into it because I think it's really important. It's great for mental health. It's a great skill to develop. Because we were talking about it. We're reading this book about psychology, and man, and Dean asked me a question. He was like, dude, basically, why haven't you been meditating? And I thought about the entire day, and
Ah,
Yeah.
got inside your
it,
Look
head.
what you did,
Good.
D. Fucked him up.
yeah, but I realized that it was laziness. It was a lot of things, just putting things off. And I went home that day and I meditated for 15 minutes. And then the next day I meditated for 15 minutes. And the next day, 10 minutes. And then today I did 25 minutes. And
Nice.
even
25
just,
minutes is a long fucking time. Wow.
yeah, dude. But even just those sessions, my anxiety has been significantly lower. Uh, I'm just more grounded, more intact, more patient.
You look better
See,
too.
what I
You're better looking as well. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
I believe that. I
Yeah.
believe that.
See, that's what I was trying to understand because you talk about this and the success you had with it in the past. You know what I mean? And especially because you have so much knowledge around meditation, all these books and stuff like that. And the other thing is that Mind Illuminated book. I was reading about the main guy who wrote it. And he's this professor, but he, does this Arizona retreat thing and all that sort of stuff. But this guy's like, yeah, I've been meditating every day for like 50 years, like just a hardcore, my whole life been doing this thing and I will never stop. And it made me think, well, I wonder why Austin stopped. It sounded like it gave him all kinds of stuff. Like I am curious, like what caused it to kind of fade away over to, like, for example, like my journal, right? I can't not write in this thing now. It is an ingrained habit. Every day I have to do it.
Can,
It's
can Wu
just
Yin
part of me.
read your journal? Is he allowed to?
If he wanted to, he doesn't. But if he wanted to, sure. Anybody
Could
can
I?
read it.
Could I? Could Austin read it?
Anybody can read it. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all right.
It's literally kind of like the Joseph Campbell, like today this happened. I was thinking about this today. I was reading this today, blah, blah, blah. That's it. It's like just a kind of chronological thing of what happened during the day.
So
But
Austin,
anyway,
yeah, what brought it about,
yeah,
right?
why? Yeah.
Yeah.
I I had a few weeks or months where my sessions just were not going well, and I wasn't getting the kind of returns that I typically get, and there's a few tragedies around the time, and I had a lot of really intense like inner tensions and anxieties that came up during meditation, and I was tired a lot because I started working again, and that was a huge part of it, and I found it kind of difficult to work it into my life at the time, and at a certain point, I was like, oh man, it's been so long. I just I felt so bad. I didn't even want to think about it because it was such, like you said, Dean, it was something that was so important to me, and having not done it, like, felt like a moral failure. And I think, and that even kind of pushed me away from it, which it really shouldn't have. But that's how I felt, man. But
Jesus.
when you asked me that question, it took me the entire day, and I was like, death anxieties. It came up during meditation, and they talk about that book talked
Uh,
about with incre and when with incremental heightenings of awareness and consciousness comes new tensions. And I think I reached a point of tension that I was not psychologically really capable of dealing with at the time. And I've grown like a lot over these past 2 years, from a lot for a lot of different reasons. And I came to it, man, and I accepted it, and it's ultimately a very simple thing. But like today, death came up again during my meditation, and I was able to look at it non-reactively, and that's what you have to do. And it was a good session, and you like if you're going to do practices that increase your consciousness, you're going to have to get good at dealing with death because it's something the mind throws at you pretty often when you have no stimulus. And I think this is why we live in a distraction society. This is part of it because there's a lot of things about reality that are really scary and all that stuff. Everyone knows. And when you have no distractions, your mind tends to dwell on negative things. And maybe this is a Western psychological like attitude or whatever, but this is true for myself. But once I made that realization, because it wasn't even the images that it was showing me and the memories, it was the fact that um, I could accept it, right? It wasn't that I was being shown bad things. It was that I was pushing it away so hard that I wasn't able to concentrate anymore, and I just ran away from it. And all I had to do was just look at it and not react to it, which I knew that was what I had to do the entire time. But I didn't have the inner strength, man. I could not sit with it, and something has changed over the last 2 years. Now I'm able to again. And dude, and that question was a real push in that direction, and reading these texts together was a huge push in that direction as well. So I really appreciate it, Dean. And I don't know, man. I feel great. I feel great today.
Grace,
Having I
are you
feel
listening to
accomplished.
this? Are you hearing this? Are you seeing what I've done?
This is a
This is
perfect Dean of response. I love it. It's
I'm just
fantastic.
saying, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
Well,
Right, right.
let me just say
Your
this.
job is to help people. And me, I just exist. All right. And this is how I naturally interact with the world. Go
We
ahead, say your bullshit, Chase. Go ahead. Yeah.
we picked the wrong professions. Obviously, you should have been the psychologist. But Austin, I just want to say that was very therapeutic. And if you're confident enough to voice that to the world, I respect it. That's a hell of a journey in a short amount of time. And I'm glad Dean helped you, brother. That's good.
Well,
It was
also,
a hell
Austin,
of an omission. That was a beautiful omission. It was fucking beautiful.
let me tell you, man, that book, the Ego and Archetype book, what you just made me think of is the Dharma wheel, the wheel of life. There to be, I'm obsessed with that image now. What I
Why?
mean, even
Why?
because I think it's perfect. I think everything about, I think in terms of a symbol, it is absolutely perfect. Because the idea of centrifugal force, right? Like it's not just about it's a circle, right? It's about the more it moves, the further energy is pushed away from the center, right? And therefore, just like he was saying, you may go deeper into consciousness and you have these incredible highs, but the valleys are even deeper, right? And those
Has to.
experiences where you're spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and it pushes you even further away from the circle, you know? But as Bobby said, right? Like the thing that you notice, particularly if you look at that Tibetan painting in the book, is that the Buddha's outside the circle, right? And how do you break out of the circle? It goes so fucking fast that you shoot yourself out with the energy, you know? And so it's one of these things where things like wrestling with death, which is the ultimate existential wrestling match, right? Is the essential part of trying to improve that journey, you know? And like I think that that unbelievable push and pull of that life circle, right? Trying to be at the center, but still trying to break out of it, dealing with the movement that's always going to be there and trying to find that neutrality that he was talking about. It sounds stoic almost, you know, but I got to tell you, man, I respect that so much because I am trying in a much, much smaller way. Okay. I'm not thinking about death. I'm thinking about Dean, stop being so petty about shit. Like, you know, those are the things I'm wrestling with. You know, like why the other day I got scheduled for an exam that I wasn't scheduled for. You know, so I had to sit there for 2 hours and I got a text about this. Like, oh, by the way, you got to stay another 2 hours and work. And immediately my reaction was just get the these fucking people. This is the fifth exam that they're fucking doing to me. Just you know, just raging.
Did it give you an
And
erection? Did it turn you on?
no, but you know what? It was one of those things where I was like, why am I so emotional about something I can't control? And why does it matter that, okay, I'm going to sit down for 2 hours? Am I going to do something difficult? No, I'm just going to sit down, you know? And I use that time to meditate, actually. So it was a strange synchronization. So I'm not exactly wrestling with death, but at least I'm trying to have more neutrality. And I think that that is the attitude that I'm trying to adopt, Austin. So in the same way, man, you're rubbing off on me. You're just a little, maybe a lot higher than my personal level right now, but I certainly appreciate reaching for the neutrality.
It's very
Uh,
touching.
like if I could give of course, if you love somebody, if you like somebody, you want to do good. You want to do good things for them, and you want to like give people things, you know. And really, the best thing that I can give anyone is the Dharma, and it's not mine, but I might know about it, and someone else might not, you know. And that's a really significant thing to give to someone. I consider that my contact with Buddhist philosophy and especially the meditation methods as being some of the most consequential moments of my entire life. I credit it for saving my life because without that counter motive, there would have been nothing stopping me from going deeper and deeper into the depth of addiction.
Didn't I
It's
didn't
like
I didn't I find you in Canada? Did I find you in Canada?
you were the first person I reached out to. Yeah,
I questioned who Ubek was. I think that was what it was. Yeah.
yeah. To your
That's
credit, you knew.
man. That is something else. Chase, you got the contact, man. People came to you. Came to you.
You know what made me reach out to you, Austin? This might surprise you.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Would you like to know?
Yeah, please tell me.
For some reason I was back in Huntsville and Scuba Steve's so stoic and
Ah,
just
Steve,
just
man.
just simple, but in the best type of way. You know, that's he chooses to live that way. And it was one of the few times in my life I've ever seen Steve emotional. I don't know. Me and Steve were talking, having a beer. I don't know what we were doing, but he's like, "Yeah, man, he just disappeared, and everybody gave up on him. Like everybody,
Mm.
like nobody's looking for him, and like it bothered him. It bothered him on a very deep level. He's talking about you, Austin. So I was like, actually, yeah, man. You know what? I'm gonna put a little effort into this. Let's see what we can find. And then there he was.
Interesting. Interesting.
You
Yeah.
know, I got to tell you, man, that as we have to give Steve some credit here because he has been a true follower of the podcast. He
He
deserves
is.
some serious credit here.
He
I
says
want to
I'm his
say that.
favorite. That's what he told me.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, Chris, I mean, sorry, Steve, Jesus Christ. Okay, Steve, you're my favorite fan. So thank you for being around. I also want to say my Steve memory, right? First of all, he was always nice to me, but for some reason, he came out to Oneana. Do you remember this, Chase? Steve came out to
He
Oneana. I think
came
we were
out there a
both.
couple of times, I want to say.
Yeah. And he it was like a plant being planted in fertile soil.
Oh
Like
yeah.
man,
Dude,
he
you give
he
Steve some
this
land and just stay away from him. He would make it
yeah.
into a fucking an orchard or a garden or whatever the fuck you wanted. Both,
Dude,
probably.
let me Chase. All right. This was so I was saying I was having a meditation time. So during that exam, this is exactly what I meditated on, right? I
Steve in
just
an
I was
orchard.
Steve was involved. Yeah. So here's what happened. I was like, all right, so let's say the podcast takes off and
And
we
it
start
is.
having money
It's
and we get
coming.
money. Like we get a Patreon or something like that. And here was the fantasy. So I started saying, all right, so I definitely wouldn't trust Chase with the money, because he's stupid with money. And I definitely wouldn't trust Austin because he's an addict,
And we
So
definitely
I
wouldn't fucking trust you. We'll tell you that right now, right, Austin?
no.
Goddamn
But no,
right.
so what I was thinking is like I was thinking what we need to do, man, if we could find a way to get that Oni on a property, right? And I was like, I would just make it a fucking monastery, like get
No, no,
Austin and
no.
Bobby and Steve out there,
I've
have
already
them
thought of
take care of
this.
it. We each build our own little section on there, and it's just that's it. That's the place, and all the
Dean,
funds go to
you're close.
supporting the Oneana property, man. It's the Epicurean dream.
I've already
I
thought of
love
this. I've already thought of
and,
it.
and I don't. Well, I already tell you, Chase, your idea is stupid. I don't even
No,
need to
it's
hear
not.
it.
Just listen.
They
It's on the
always are stupid. All right.
Dean, I need you to approach
All
this
right.
from a neutral
All
spot
right.
because you're going to agree with me on this. I've thought of this
All
too.
right.
We're in the same realm. We're thinking the same thing. We have to respect that. I'm going to say two words to you. Murakami Gardens. Imagine that property, all of it, as a Murakami, like in the main kind of museum is the house. What do you think? You
Are you
just do
saying
a
Oneana?
like a mile and a half long walk through it, but it's Japanese Zen in the middle of Alabama.
Yeah, dude, I'm down for that. Sure,
See,
absolutely. Yeah.
see, you bashing me, but you're like, actually,
Because I
Chase,
thought you
I
were gonna
agree.
say, you got to go to Hawaii and blah 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 blah. No,
Yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah.
Austin and Steve are in Alabama. All
Well,
right,
well, that's what's
it's
gonna.
got to be there.
I've had the same. We have the same dream. It's in synchronicity. All right, so Austin, I got to tell you something. So get off your phone and look on
Austin's
the map
on his
and look
fucking
me.
phone.
Yeah,
We're
what are
talking
you
about the
doing?
future here. All right. And he's off on his just whacking his saw. Yeah, just go
So
ahead.
Austin, this is a rare thing, and it'll probably never happen again. I'm gonna give you a book recommendation. Okay, I've only read like six. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I believe
Called Green Eggs and Ham.
that.
What's it called?
Austin, there is a book by my favorite psychologist slash psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist, but he practices real therapy, and he
I know where
writes.
this is.
He writes in a way where you can be a fucking genius or a fucking retard. And be like, no, I get it. Like it's a gift. Irvin Yalom. And he's got a book, and it's called Creatures of the Day. And this is 10 case studies, but they're older. He's older. His clients are older. Every single one of them revolves around death anxiety in a different way. And him reading that book, nobody admits to death anxiety. But if you get deep enough, it almost always goes to death anxiety, like on a deep, fucking terrifying level, kind of what you experienced. This guy did it masterfully, and he'll take you through a journey with 10 people, and it's intense, it's knowledgeable, and it's so fucking easy to follow. In fact, we should do that in the book club next. We should do something like case studies. Like I would be fascinated how y'all break down case studies. That'd be fun. Be real fucking fun.
Yeah, that's a good. I think that's a good recommendation. I read a little bit of one of his works, existential
No,
psychoanalysis, that I
no,
really enjoyed. But
well, you actually liked it. No, do his case studies. Do his case, please do his case studies. There's Love's Executioner and Creatures of the Day. Read Creatures of the Day because it's much more on the death anxiety. He might be dead now, actually. I need to look that up.
yeah, he's definitely old. He's been around for a while. I remember listening to a podcast after you mentioned him, and he sounded old on the podcast. He was
He's
like,
got
they're
a
asking.
he's got a whole book dedicated to death anxiety too. It's like
I think
sun,
almost all of his books, because
staring at the
the
sun. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the existential stuff is it's like, what is the foundational neuroses, like? Is it,
No, dude, no,
sex
dude,
or death
no.
anxiety or whatever?
You
But
read these fucking case studies, it's all about the relationship. Like he calls people out. He's like, yeah, I didn't really like seeing you because you're fat. It was like he's so honest. It's impressive.
No, Austin. I don't care about this shit. What about the Epicurean monastic community that we set up in Oneana? All right. What do you think, man? Huh? Could it happen? Are you down with the idea? No.
yeah, dude, I think we should grab
Hey,
all of our
not
favorite
Chase. What the
people,
fuck?
yeah,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
and create a community, of course.
Look, it's an ideal property. We're gonna need money to buy out the other people that own it, but
That's why we have to
that
come together.
property is partially owned in the family. There needs to be
Not
tactical maneuvers made to get it 100%.
keep putting pressure on that. But that Austin, let me tell you, man, the fact is it's gonna be fucking impossible for any of us to retire one day. And the only way to do it is to just pool the funds and just try and survive together, man. Especially gay dudes, because we ain't got no kids to milk for some kind of fund. So
It could be a
I
gay
believe,
retirement
yeah.
resort. Yeah, that'd be fucking.
Well, Chase, you're gonna have to change some of your habits, all right?
Dude,
But
that's a
I'd
great
still,
idea. A gay retirement fucking village. That's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant.
I want to have the more monastic vibe. I want to have the wisdom drawn to it.
We could do that
You
too.
have Bobby on one side leading the class. You have Steve, who's just taking care of the property like a loved child.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Austin, who's off in the library that we've built, and he's got all his thousands and thousands of books all lined up there, and he just spends all day locked in there. I could
And
see
all
it.
the
I
nurses
could see
are
it.
young, skinny men, fresh out of nurse school.
I mean, listen, you don't want only twinks. You want
Twinks.
to have
Oh yeah, yeah. Some
variety.
butch ones, or what's that what you call it? Muscle bears.
That's a butch is a lesbian term. You know
Right,
what I mean? I think it dykes with butch.
right.
Let's just say more mask, that sort of thing.
Those are great questions today, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Steal those every week. That would be. It's just
People.
pragmatic.
It's
Yeah.
that people. I didn't get to all of them either. Right? There was more too. So yeah,
I say,
we
Austin,
should.
that confessional that you gave, that was like in a private little sitting area with a priest, man. That was hardcore, brother. It's been a life-changing event for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And could you guys commit? Could you commit to five if you set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes a day of just following the breath? Could you commit to that?
No.
For me,
I'm already committed to it, man. I got it. Yeah.
There's
No,
a
because of the
staunch
book.
yes. And let me ask you this before we quit. I'm curious about this. I've tried to meditate years ago and I hated it. I found this is how I
Read this book.
meditate. I meditate by letting any thought that comes in my head just flow and I run with it as long as I want and then just let it go with the intention of let it come, let me think about it and let it go. And that has always taken me to a clear mind. I don't fight to have a clear mind. I let whatever I want to fucking think about come and then just understand
Okay,
that it's
then
going to
do that
leave.
5 minutes a day. Do it 5 minutes a day, Chase. Come on.
But I'm saying when I do that, that's my meditation. But what you describe in meditation is almost the exact opposite. Like you guys do it like intentionally trying to clear the mind. Or am I mistaken?
uh, well, you're trading attention. So my meditation style is cyclic. So I will count the breath or focus single pointedly on the breath for a period of time, and then when I feel that my mind is really unified and concentrated, I'll completely relax and I'll just be aware. And then after a little while, my mind starts to wander a little bit, and I go back to using attention as a tool and really focusing. And then once my mind is really unified again, I can relax again and kind of just rest in the moment really efficiently. And so, what you seem to be talking about, and maybe your mind is just more clear than others, but you have to throw in attention training as well. And this is going to significantly heighten your ability to be aware and rest, like you're describing. But it's cyclic, and they reinforced each other. And I think that would take your practice to the next level. And you also, like I talked to Dean about, you really need to have a place to do it, and you sit in the right posture. And all these things enhance it significantly. Right posture, right technique, and consistency, doing it every day, really opens it up and like shows you really what it can do for your mental health.
See, I think I'm doing almost the exact same thing, except in different ways. Like I'm just letting the thoughts run through. And then when it's clear, I can focus on the breath. Like when my mind's at ease, like focus on the breath is easy. And people talk about, oh, sit in a certain way. I'm like, I've had out of body experiences laying on my back with my hands on my chest. Like that's my spot.
Austin, here, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. I know my brother, right? Here's what we're going to do.
Well, hang
We
on.
just listen. We just started. Remember how we had this book club, and we read through a book, and suddenly we have a new member because he feels a little pressure, a little jealousy. And now here's what's going to happen, Austin. We're going to do our 5 minutes a day. We're going to start to become elevated spiritual beings, and suddenly, maybe a month from now, Chase is going to be like, "Oh, guys, can I join you for your 5 minutes?" This is how it works. So just be patient, Austin, and you will see young Chase begin to evolve. This is how it works. All right. So, Chase, you do your thing, and me and Austin, we will proceed forward and light the way for you.
Well, I'm describing a different way of approaching it. I'm curious what he has to say, Dean. Curious what he
Okay.
thinks of it.
I mean, I think he already did kind of explain himself. So, all
A
right.
What
counter.
about your technique?
Yeah, like I'm saying, I can get to the breath, but I let the mind run until it doesn't need to run anymore, and then I get to the breath. Like it,
Okay,
I don't find it difficult for me.
look, Chase, I don't know what's happening. uh, so my position would be do it according to the methods that have been laid down for 2,500 years, and do it exactly how they say it. And if you say that it's the same thing after comparing it, then I'll agree with you. But I can't know because you're doing your own eclectic thing, and I really I can't say. But I think what you really should do is you should sit exactly how they tell you to in the posture they tell you to. And
Hang on,
the
because you're coming
way
at
they
me
tell
right now.
you
Let me
to.
say this. I've read this somewhere. This is not my own invention. Like I had to write a paper on this for my master. I don't remember where, I don't remember what about, but I had a conversation with the professor about it. I was like, you can let your mind run until you get to the breath state. Like I don't know where I read it, but I'll find it. This is just it's not retrievable. But it's not something I came up with. I read it somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, I really need to be in the correct posture. And they talk about the necessity because it aligns your energetic channels that the prana
Well,
flows through. But
yeah,
there's
but
other
Robert
reasons for
Bruce
it.
challenged that. He said in his book, it's like, look, if you're more comfortable laying down, lay down, man. You could still get to the state that we're trying to achieve through a lay down posture. He said that, and he did.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that there's people that can do it that way, but I would say start that way because that's the gold standard. And if you go to a different way and you say, okay, this is just as good for me, then I say, okay, that's fine. But you got to do the gold standard before you go off doing it different directions. That's my perspective.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't making it up though.
No, I don't think you were. And what you're doing might be totally legitimate. I don't know. Um, it's just hard to say because you get a lot of people that say, "Oh, like, yeah, my meditation is pet my dog." I'm like, well, that's fine, but you're not doing that other
I
thing.
know those people. I'm not saying that. I don't actively meditate. I do it when I'm desperate. That's when I
Yeah,
meditate.
well, think of it as preemptive. You're getting
Oh,
good at
when
working
I
with
am
stress.
desperate, I can reach a meditative state. I don't know if I could do it consistent. I don't think I could. Like I think it would lose its worth and I would fall out of it very quickly. When I'm
I've
desperate, I have to get there.
I've heard the quote that meditation is preparation for the worst day of your life, and I think
So, yeah,
you
why
should
not?
think of it that way. You're pre it, like getting good at dealing with stress and emotionally regulating before bad things happen. You don't wait until the ship is going down to get insurance. And I think meditation is like a mental health insurance in a fashion.
I think meditation has been skewed by the fact that, oh, this is for people that have a mind that can't turn off. And it's just not the case, what you're saying. It's actually preparation for, whatever event may come, good or bad.
Right. And I'd say that there's two wings to it. There's attention and awareness, and both have to be flapping to progress in meditation. This is how the book talks about it. So you're always doing both at the same time, and they reinforce each other, and they help bring you to the next level of development. So I'd say think about it. Read maybe read the book that me and Dean are reading, and I don't know, man, because I like you guys, and I talk to everyone that I like and say, hey, it's really important to me. I've got a lot of benefit out of it. I actually got Edwin to sit in the meditation posture the other day. I put him on the meditation pillow, and I told him how to do it, and it was a really beautiful moment to be able to share that with somebody that you love. So
It's very important to you, brother. It's almost like your life purpose to pass on this knowledge that saved your life. Yeah.
exactly. I probably should have told him about it sooner, but I was out of it for a long time and I wasn't really doing it. It was kind of on the back burner. But getting into it and doing it again, I'm reminded of how powerful it is, and I'm really all about it again. I'm really into it again. So, and I want
Austin,
everybody
I
to
think
come with me.
I think that I think you're naturally inclined to maybe being a bit of a recluse. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think because of the podcast and because you actually get a chance to speak, a lot of good is coming out of it, man. I never would have read any of these books. I never would have been talking about any of these things if it wasn't for you bringing some much needed depth to this shit. So glad that you're finally out there preaching as you should, an evangelist for deeper thoughts.
Well, it's
Like
been
it.
it's been good for the podcast because this is how me and Dean would operate. Dean's stagnant, I'm stagnant, and we would never be productive at the same time. We were
You know
just,
what you are, Austin? Your lubrication.
yeah,
All
you
right.
are.
Your
Yeah, think of it
lubrication
like your KY jelly. Think of yourself as KY jelly. That
and
should motivate you in some way. Or
sliding right into it.
that's right.
Go.
I'm
Yeah, that's a
essential.
very
Yes.
kind comparison because uh, lubrication prevents a lot of suffering in this world, in various different ways. So
Just dude, it's yeah,
it's not bad.
absolutely. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
100%.
All
Yeah.
right. Gentlemen, why don't we end it there? Yeah. I think that was a pretty good one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for listening to the Divine Brothers podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.